Okay, so Mastar Media just dropped chapter 2 part 2 of his manga series, Demon Rush. But before we go ahead and react to that, I need to adjust something. I need an explanation. So, does anyone know, like, who is this guy? Like, what is this guy doing? Commenting on my first video on chapter 1 and then chapter 2. Like, who is this guy? Who is this humble human being? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. you know but on a serious note, I have to respect it. I have to respect Mastar to be reacting and commenting on a small channel, you know even though I don't even have 10 subscribers, which is crazy. But it's crazy how he's able to find my channel when I don't even have 10 subscribers. But yeah, he's been coming back. He didn't just show up once. He showed up in both my reactions to his Demon Rush chapters, which is, it really shows a lot about his character. Just to be able to show up and actually listen to what I have to say, regardless of my channel size. That's it tells a lot. So, yeah, I guess I'm assuming, you know what? Since you reacted to the past two Demon Rush chapter videos, I'm just gonna assume you're listening right now. So, Star Media, what's up? What's up? I'm gonna tell you a lot of things. I think I'm gonna talk a lot in terms of I'm gonna be talking to the audience. Like, I'm gonna be talking to you guys who is not Mastar, but at the same time I'm gonna say certain things in a way where it's just like I'm talking directly to Mastar Media. So you might notice that a bit here in this video. So yeah, watch out for that, and let's jump straight into it. Oh yeah, Russian high school. We literally got like 3 seconds of screen time on Rush, the last chapter. So let's see if there's any more. That was one of the things I mentioned. I remember that was definitely one of the things I mentioned in my chapter 2 reaction that I wanted to see, especially since Rush is the main character. At least more than, like, I don't know, like 2 scenes of Rush. Yeah. Doomsday happened. They just happen out of nowhere. A lot of questions. Oh yeah, Mastar did point this out. He wants to leave a lot of, so everything that's happening, he wants to go in a direction where you basically don't, things are happening, like a lot of things are happening, a lot of action, but he leaving a lot of explanation for later on, like a lot of the story writing of like dialogues and explaining things and the reason why things are happening later on, which is, I would say, is a risky move. It's a very risky move, because yes, you're gonna get people like wondering and invested of wanting to figure out and find out what's gonna happen, or the reason why things are happening. But which is a big but the risk you take with that is you're gonna also end up with people that are confused and like not really sure, like they kind of just end up lost. Basically, it's more about being lost than confused. Like they end up being lost with the story, and cause they can't really detect what's really the story, like what's really going on and what the story is about. uh they just end up more lost than curious. So it's like a fine line. You kind of have to find the balance between having things leave over and having the audience question what's going on, and you, like, there needs to be a balance between that and them being lost. So like, so that's one thing I could say to Mastar. Like, if you, as the story progresses, make sure that have questions for people, so that of course they'll figure it out later on, but also make sure that they understand the story at the same time. I don't know if I'm wording this right, but basically, as long as the audience know what's going on in the story, that's when you can have like questions added in there where I said, well, not you don't add questions, but I mean you can have events that happen that leads to audience questioning themselves, and that's when you could really have something interesting and you get really invested. But when it's but I could easily tell that there are going to be people that are going to be lost with this story, because there are a lot of things that are happening in the future, especially with the timelines and how it's moving from, well, what was it, like 2039 to 2029 to 2022, you know? So I could see where people could easily get lost with this story, and they just end up not really understanding it. So that's really it. There's a fine line. It really is. It's difficult to really, like, I'm kind of having a hard time explaining it because it's such a fine line of like confusion and like and curiosity. It's such a fine line, so it is just so hard to explain. I think if I have a better explanation, I'll say it later, but yeah. Okay, the transition was nice, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Watch this. Plot armor. Watch the plot armor. Wait, what? Why are they going past them? Why? Wait. Oh, because they're going after the angel? I guess. Oh, and then there's the guy from chapter 1. Got it. Jesus Christ, how large is this? How large is this guy? Look at these wings. Really, Mastar? Really? An angel? Really? I'm telling you, there's gonna be some, there's gonna be, you know what I just thought of? Like, I feel like there's some stories that do this, but I can't really name it on top of my head. Why does this guy right here next to Mastar look like Zeke or Loki? But, you know when they have, like, quick shots of, like, bystanders? It could be, I don't know, for some reason I just thought of this, where bystander just, like, they know exactly what is going on, but they just act clueless. That's literally what Mastar is in this photo right now. Like, when, like, he's the mastermind who planned everything and had the demons come in and unleash Doomsday. He's that guy. I'm telling you, in this story, the Mastar is looking clueless, but he added, I'm telling you, it's gonna be revealed later on that he's the one who unleashed Doomsday. And he's talking about, oh, an angel? Like, head ass. Like, like I'm telling you, that's exactly what's going to happen. So, watch out for that. And you know what? I have an amazing idea of what Mastar could do with this. Since he's shown him drawing himself into his own story, I have an idea of what he could do with that with others, but I think I'm going to mention that in the end, so stay tuned. Mastar, you have to wait until you have to watch the whole video. Well, technically you could skip it, but please watch the rest. I just thought of this. So, like, the angels, right there, so I believe the demons were sealed away, right? But the angels were, like, always around. Like, they were always, I'm assuming they were just, like, up above, and they only showed up because the demons showed up, I'm assuming. So I'm guessing that's one of stuff that's gonna be explained, or maybe not. Maybe I'm just nitpicking. It's not really too important of a detail, but I'm just asking. This man really the colossal titan out here. He really like he ready to knock down a wall or some shit. It's a lot of images. It's really it's not much dialogue. It's a lot of just imagery, a lot of focus on the artwork. Yeah, it's really they really want to feel the tension of the situation. That's kind of I see that's where Mastar is going for. You're trying to have people feel the tension and how the intensity of it, how serious this is. But like I said earlier, since there was no built-up hype, in terms of, I'm not talking about, well, yes, there was built-up hype, probably like outside of the story, but I'm talking within the story, especially since it's chapter 2. Well, it's part 2, but it's still chapter 2. You know, despite that, the way you have in this situation being intensified and showing the images and kind of slowly leading up to the battle, you know, I feel like without, and I notice a lot with stories, I feel like without the anticipation, or I guess I'll say, or the hype, that's a better word to say. It's like a modern word to say. Without the hype of like there was build up towards this battle, you know, the tension with the images and showing the Lucifer and the angel, you know, slowly getting ready for their battle and everything. You know, I think it just doesn't, I guess I'm just not matching it. So yeah, the point of tension and having these anticipation with the standoff and everything, the point of that is, if I feel like it makes more sense when there's build up and there's been scenes that played out before that led up to this point where people are just can't wait to see it, you know. Like I'm just kind of waiting for the battle to happen, you know. I'm not really feeling the tension as much. And I think you understand what I mean by this point. I'm just gonna, to be honest. Oh my god, this is cool as hell. Oh my god. What the hell is this? This have to be top 3 best drawn creatures, characters, whatever you want to call it. You know? Just our images, I guess, in general. So far. Oh my god. Whoa. That's it? Oh, 8 minutes went by quick. 8 minutes went by. Oh yeah, I said 8 minutes. It was like 7 minutes. But I see what Mastar was doing. He needs to get his ad revenue, so I ain't trying to knock on you, bro. I understand. Wow, that was. Oh my god. Okay, so it's that chapter. It was a lot of images. There was like no dialogue, like literally. Like if you like look through it, like it was barely any dialogue at all. Like let me go back into it. Like the dialogue was just non-existent. Like, but that's fine. It's kind of like anticipation. That's what I felt like the chapter was. It was just kind of like anticipation for a battle to come along. But I wonder what's the reason why Mastar is deciding to show Doomsday now. You know? Yeah, that's a good question. Why show Doomsday now instead of later? like I was thinking about it, and I was like, because we only seen like we only seen like a minute, like a few minutes of like the time period of where everything's gonna. He said that most things are gonna take place, and most of the story's gonna take place in 2029. So I think I would think to show more of 2029 and what society is like and what everything is like before we're going back to Doomsday. I would think, especially since we didn't see what was the current state of Rush in 2029 yet, or anything else, or it was just a brief. It was very brief. 2029. You went straight into Doomsday, and it looks like you're going to be taking your time and sticking to Doomsday for some time. Especially how based on the pacing and everything. So I wonder where you're going from there, or how long you're gonna spend in 2022. So, but yeah, I think what sums. Let's see if I could find the comment again. This was one comment I saw earlier that kind of sums it up. That kind of sums up my feelings about this so far. So yeah, the Dark Wall. I really like this comment about. Actually, I'm gonna give it a like right now. About how it feels like it's too much action and there's little to no narrative outside of the angels and demons fighting. I kind of agree, because chapter 1 was mainly about the fighting. It was just fighting basically, and chapter 2 was really the only one that didn't really have much action. But even though chapter 2 didn't have much action, it didn't really explain much either. Like, and what I mean by much is the basics, because I kind of feel like that's probably what I mean earlier about the difference between Lost and Curious is I feel like at this point I'm not sure if the premise has been established of what's going to be taking place in the story moving forward. I think that's probably what I'm leaning towards, is the premise not identifying and kind of showing what the premise of the story is what's making it become more of a audience could end up more lost and curious in a way. Well, of course, if you're just reading in the story just for the action and everything and the artwork and everything, then you ain't gonna really care as much. But if I'm talking about more of like if you care a lot about the story and everything like that, and less about just seeing like good scenes, like good artwork and like great action, if you want to see like a polished story, that's what I'm talking more about. So I when I mentioned earlier about being lost and curious, that fine line is, I feel like that the premise being identified earlier on would have helped a lot with this, in terms of, because right now I don't really know what is the story mainly gonna be about or focusing on without you explaining it outside of the story. I'm just talking based on things, the stuff that's being explained in the story without hearing you explaining about it outside of it, because I think you wanted to have it where everything's is understood without you really having to say anything outside of the story. So the premise, establishing the premise very early on would help, and then after that having events where you don't really explain much about it until later on would then help with creating that curiosity for the audience. But yeah, I agree with this about the whole narrative of motivation and conflicts. There's a lot of things are happening without really understanding the motivation and the conflicts of it. The action is great, as is the art. I just feel like we need some time to marinate in the world and truly add weight and connection to the events taking place within it. This man speaking everything I want to say out of my mind, and that's why I kind of just went straight into this comment. Yeah, it's very challenging though. Writing is not easy. It's not easy. Writing a story is not easy. I tried it myself, and it's not easy at all. But yeah, this comment right here summarized everything I would say about this story so far, or at least, and it's only really been 2 chapters. Well, there's been 2 parts for chapter 2, but yeah, it's only been 2 chapters, so it's really hard to judge much out of it. But just based on everything so far, it's really perfectly sums up what I would say. So yeah. Okay, now Mastar Media, time for the great idea. I hope you're listening. I really do hope you're listening. So I don't know if I think I did mention this before. Maybe it was just by comment, or maybe I mentioned this in the video. I don't really know. But yeah, I'm a story editor. I am a story editor. Yes, I know, shocking. But yeah. I worked with many people in terms of helping them with their stories and help improve it, the plot mainly just the plot. And this kind of having yourself in the story kind of reminds me of someone I worked with recently. So recently I worked with a Twitch streamer. She's not big. She's a small Twitch streamer. I think her name is Hira, something like that. Yeah, something like that. But anyways, and she was creating a story, and I worked with her a bit with her story. And basically what she did was she had these little creatures in her story, or well, basically the story is about these creatures. And what she did was she has her Twitch subs, and she kind of used a system where whoever had like the most, like based on the rankings of like Twitch subs, and I guess how long you been a sub in her channel, or and everything like that, in your tier, I guess your tier as a sub. I forgot how she did it, but she basically had it where she kind of allow people to kind of request what they want their character to be in their story, or if they kind of want their character to be in the story, or have a scene of their character in the story. And she kind of did that based on her Twitch subs and stuff like that. And of course she added her mods in there too. She had characters for her mods and stuff, but she also listened to requests for Twitch with her Twitch subs on if they wanted to get characters of themselves added in, or I guess design a creature for them, the creature of their choice for them into her story. And I think you could probably do that with this. You could probably have it. I don't know how you would do it. Maybe you'll like run a contest or something, or whatever, and have it where you could like add maybe some of your fans into the story, like have a short scene, like a bystander or something. And it could also help solve the issue of if you have an issue like drawing bystanders and stuff, or like just thinking about just random bystanders to draw. It kind of really helps, like keeps fans engaged and involved, and like feel important and feel like they're part of something. Like they probably already feel like they're part of something based on like the trading card games and everything, but just more like it's like very sentimental kind of thing. Like they feel like so I think you could probably run a contest or something like that. So yeah, you could probably like run a contest or something, or do whatever. And I think that that's a great idea. I just really believe in that. Just like adding your fans into the story, just like how you did with yourself. I think that's just a fun idea to have, and just building just that community aspect in the story. And it's just hardly ever done. No author really gets to do that because they don't really have as a strong connection to their community and audience like that. So I think that's an opportunity you could really take advantage of. So yeah, that's the idea. Just, adding your fans into the story as bystanders. I don't know how you would do it. I'd probably guess a contest or something, or whatever, or maybe it doesn't even have to be adding them to the story, but it could be if you add do a contest where you add like a design they made of a creature. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, cause stuff like that. And they, even if it's just a short scene, I think they'll appreciate that. So things like that. So it doesn't really have to be like adding a person and getting every detail of their face, but it could be some type of design or drawing they have like to see in the story. So yeah, I wonder what you would do with that, and let me know. And let me know what you think. All right, that's it.